Hi everyone! In today's video, I'll be walking you through how to make your own artist website with no coding or previous experience required. A big thank you to Wix for sponsoring today's video and providing such a great set of tools for artists to build a professional website and elevate their online presence. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start off at wix.com/happyd, and from here, I'm just going to quickly sign up for an account with my email. To answer these questions, I'm just going to say that this website will be for myself and my business, and that it is my first time ever making a website. And for the website type, I'm going to search for artist portfolio, and luckily they have that, so that will get me started off on the right foot. And instead of letting the Wix ADI create a website for me, I want to create my own website using the Wix editor, starting with picking out a template. Wix has an extensive gallery of beautiful and modern template options organized by the type of website. So I will select the Art and Illustration category and start with the options there. You can preview each template in both the desktop and mobile view before selecting your final choice. After trying out a few different options, I have decided to go with this simple and clean design called Illustrator Portfolio. Starting off with a template is a great choice for a beginner because the overall organization and structure of your website is already there. You just have to go in and replace the sample images and text with your own. The first thing I want to do is change my website title to Happy D Artist, which can easily be done by just double-clicking on the text. Then, using the toolbar on the left, I am going to add a new page called Portfolio, which will house a gallery of my artwork. The left toolbar is really helpful because you can use it to quickly jump to the page that you want to work on with the menu and pages icon. And using the add icon, you can add various types of items to your page. In this case, I'm going to add a gallery to my portfolio page. So once again, you start off with a sample template, and you can then delete their sample images to replace them with your own. I'm just going to click on the Manage Media button above the selected gallery and start to delete their sample images so I can add in my own artwork. I love that the Wix Editor UI allows you to just drag and drop if you want to rearrange or reposition anything, so I'm just going to quickly arrange my artwork in a more visually appealing grid. And after I finished with the gallery, I noticed that the footer still has some text that needs to be updated, so I will replace their sample name with Happy D Artist. Side note, I really wanted this tutorial to be a realistic portrayal of how my website creation process normally goes, so just be prepared to see me kind of randomly hopping around and fixing things or changing my mind and redoing stuff. For example, I am now going to hop back to my homepage and change it to be more of my style. So at first, I replaced this Illustrator text with Oil Painter because I'm mainly an oil painter. But then I decided I didn't really like having just a piece of text floating there by itself. So I wanted something more visually impactful. That is why I'm going to be adding a strip there. A strip is basically a box that you put in your homepage that will contain a background image, some text, and a button which links to another page in your website. I want my homepage to kind of contain little previews and glimpses into my other pages. After selecting this strip design, I'm going to delete that weird floating text, and now it's pretty much back to the same routine as before, which is just to replace their image and text with my own. Wix actually provides a lot of beautiful stock photos for you to use, but for this tutorial, I am only going to stick with my own artwork. You can actually crop and edit your images using Wix's Photo Studio, which is really nifty. But since I already color corrected and tweaked the image in Photoshop when I scanned the painting, I'm just going to keep my image as is. But if you don't have Photoshop, the Wix Photo Studio is a great way for you to edit your photos to match your website. After placing down the background image, I'm going to edit the text and button. With the Wix editor, you can streamline so much of the editing process just by double-clicking on the element you want to edit and then using the different options that pop up next to the element. I also love the drag and drop functionality because it allows me to easily resize or reposition things with this very intuitive gesture. For the button, I'm going to select a more round style because I just like how it looks more. And I'm going to link it to my portfolio page so that visitors who express interest in the header image can then just click on the See More button to be linked to a gallery featuring more of my artwork. Okay, now it's time to edit the About page. First things first, let's delete the template image and replace it with my own. Then I'll delete the sample text and add 2 columns of text instead. On the left will be my artist statement, and on the right will be a list of my gallery shows. I want this page to serve as kind of a resume. If you don't have any gallery experience yet, you can list any clients you've collaborated with, any brands you've worked with, any publications you've been a part of. Or if you don't have any of that experience yet, that's totally fine. In the beginning, I usually just leave my artist statement here that gives a brief artist bio and a write-up that kind of describes the aesthetic and inspiration behind my work. I'm also just going to play around with some of the text formatting options to make the design a bit easier to read and more aesthetically pleasing. After finishing the About page, it's now time to add a little preview of it into my homepage. So once again, I'm using the strip element, and I want it to look a bit visually different from the first strip that contained my portfolio. So I'll be selecting this one that has text on one side and the image on the other side. To keep the homepage look and feel consistent, I'm going to select another pink artwork for this section. And for the text, I'm going to write a quick blurb about myself as a way to just give the viewer a preview of what the About page contains. And similarly to how I created the portfolio preview strip, I'm going to link this Learn More button to my About page so that visitors can easily access it from this section in the homepage. Now it's time to edit this contact page. I've decided to move the contact form to my homepage. I'll share more on that later. But for now, I'll be using this space for a commissions page instead. So I'm going to first rename the page title to Commissions, and then I'm just going to add some information here about my commission process and rates. I highly recommend that every artist adds a commission page to their website because it's a great way to advertise that you're open for commissions, and potential clients who are interested in commissioning you don't have to wait for an email reply to find out more information about your rates. And of course, as you've probably already guessed, I will now return to my homepage to add a little preview strip of the newly created commissions page. I'm going to select the same style that I used for my About strip, but I will just flip the position of the image and text so that the 2 strips create a kind of grid pattern when I place them together. I just think it looks more visually engaging this way. And just like I did previously, I will pick another pink color theme appropriate artwork, change the button to the rounded button style, and write a little preview text to give visitors an idea of what the commission section will be about. And since I had replaced the contact page with my new commissions page, it's now time for me to add the contact form to the bottom of my homepage like I had planned. I will once again use the Add button on the left toolbar, and this time I will select the Contact and Forms option. I landed on this style of contact form because it's simple and clean, and even though the orange doesn't match my current pink color scheme, I can easily change it with Wix's straightforward editing tools. I'm going to change the text boxes to be just simple and white, and of course with the button, I'm going to change it to the rounded style, the same as my other buttons, so that it's more consistent. I just love it when things are visually consistent. I can't help it. Now it is time to save and preview how everything looks. In desktop, I think things look pretty good and on par with how they looked in the editor, but I noticed that the mobile preview needs a tiny bit of tweaking. Luckily, Wix has a mode that allows you to edit only the mobile version without affecting how it looks on the desktop version. For the mobile part, I'm only going to be making some minor changes. I'm just rearranging some of the homepage elements so that the website flows a bit more elegantly. But in both the mobile and desktop previews, I noticed one thing that I consistently did not like was how the footer and social media icons looked. I think it's just too close to how the original template looked, and I didn't do much work in tweaking or polishing up those parts. So next I'm going to go in and alter the footer that contains the copyright text and the social media icons. First, I want that footer copyright text to be a more of a faded gray so that it's not competing for attention. And I'm going to also replace the original square icons with circular ones so that it's more visually consistent with my kind of round circular style buttons. Once again, I'm just going to press the Add button from the left toolbar and select the social option. And I will choose these very modern and sleek black circular icons. I can also easily link up all of my social media pages so that visitors of my website can find a quick way to follow or connect with me on any social media platform. I think these social media icons are crucial to any website, and I highly recommend them, especially if you want to put them in your header or footer so that they can be seen on every single page of your website. These social media icons are useful because someone might find your website through your Instagram and then discover through your website that you have a YouTube as well. So it's just a nice, quick, and clean way to get all of your social media links out and easily accessible. Okay, we're almost done. Much like painting, the last step for me is the final touches. From the left toolbar, I'm going to select Theme Manager so I can make some minor visual tweaks, primarily concerning the font and text. I'm not a huge fan of the default font from this template, so I'm going to replace it with a font that I like a lot more. I'm also just going to manually change some of the text I see laying around. Whatever doesn't look right, I will go back and clean it up. I will drag and drop and rearrange things so that the margins and spacing are more consistent as well. This is just my perfectionist tendencies. And lastly, I'm going to change up the main navigation menu by making the links all caps, because I feel like without all caps, it feels like a normal paragraph of text rather than like a formal menu full of buttons and navigation. I'm also going to change the hover color from teal to pink in order to match my website's pink color scheme. After polishing up these last few bits, it's now time for the final look at our finished website. I make sure to not only test out both the desktop and mobile previews, but also I want to click around, click all the links, scroll through all the pages, and just make sure that every single little corner looks and behaves the way that I want it to before I decide to publish my site. And after I'm done previewing, I can now publish my website. See, wasn't that super easy and not daunting at all? In part 2 of this video series, I'll be teaching you how to create an online shop where you can sell your artwork, so stay tuned for that video next month. Until then, try out Wix for yourself at wix.com/happyd. You can find all of the information in the video description as well. Also, get ready for some self-promotion now, but I'm still continuing my holiday sale well after the holidays. So if you want to get 20% off of everything from my shop, including prints and originals, just enter the code HOLIDAY at happyd-artist.com, and the sale will end probably never at this rate. And if you're interested in learning more about how to paint and draw, I have lots of art educational content on my Patreon page, including exclusive video tutorials, step-by-step photo tutorials, live streams, podcasts, and even surprise art gift boxes. All available at patreon.com/happydartist. I'd love to have you join my Patreon family. Also, if you want to check out more artworks, works in progress, and just random daily artist adventures, feel free to check out my Instagram, and you can follow me at the handle @happydartist.